We are now live, so now you're talking.
No,
yes,
hey everybody!
Yes, good. Hello and welcome to the Rugby Chat Show. As you can see, I'm back on Arshwin's couch because that's Arshwin over there, and this is a couch. So hello, everybody. I'm Paul, the guy behind DrivingMaul, your best place rugby predictions and opinion, and obviously that is Arshwin, our local Blues supporter. Now, a bit of a warning for you, everybody. Next week. I'm probably not going to be on the show, but Arshwin and Stephen are going to take over the show, which does mean it might be a bit more blue than black and yellow next weekend. So, for those of you who don't like the Blues, don't tune in next week.
Don't say that. You get more riveting debate with Steve and me.
Okay, you have a riveting debate with Stephen and Arshwin. Stephen. Well, okay, yes.
Sorry.
So yes. And thank you, Michael. Yes, I am looking rather comfy here tonight. These are comfy sofas.
Nah, they got a bit sad now, mate. They're a bit old. I need to make sure I've got a cushion there, especially with my back.
Well, actually, yeah, look.
You've got to have a cushion there.
That's too deep, I find.
Yeah.
But that's just because I've got short legs. So what we're going to talk about this evening. So we'll probably have a quick chat about Welsh rugby jerseys, a bit about Major League Rugby. We'll talk a bit about South American rugby for a change. We might even have, who knows, we might even talk about some Super Rugby at some point as well. Those are the main kind of topics. I guess there's been some Pro 14 stuff. I mean, they've made it to finals time, and Viewer Premiership is coming towards a head, as is the top 14. But I think which the other bits that we will be probably mainly chatting about this evening. So let's start off with the old Welsh rugby jersey. So you were having a quick read about this before we went live. 14 years?
Yeah, something like that.
11
which
years.
Is rather surprising.
Wales have had Under Armour, and to be fair, they've had a whole range of quality of jerseys. And on the whole, they've not been too bad. They did have a really bad with gold bits on it at one point, which I thought was a bit Star Trekky. Wasn't a big fan of those. But apart from that, not bad on the old style front from Under Armour. And it's not a difficult kit to do, is it really? Red with a few feathers on.
Yeah,
basically.
Yes.
And there you go.
Do you think they should ever chuck the daffodil on there?
Or dragon.
Or the dragon. Yes.
See, what they could do, and we've seen this done on a few jerseys. I'm not sure if it's done on your one so much, but maybe slightly so. You can't really see it, but when you look at something like the Exeter Chiefs jersey, for example, it's black, and then it's just slightly off black. You can see the Chiefs' head is there, so it's not just the same.
Yes,
so what they could do is red,
yeah,
and just slightly off red, a big dragon.
It's as you say on this one, and I think subsequent ones, it's not that prevalent.
Yeah, so do it.
But it's sort of like there is an imprinted, embossed sort of image.
Do it in a subtle one.
I'll be back in a second. It seems like my tenants might have a bit of an issue in the front, so I'll just be back as I try and manoeuvre myself off the couch with my back.
So property mogul Arshwin has to go off and sort out things.
Robert Jones of the Roscoe.
I have no idea who Robert Jones is, but there we go. Interesting that they've basically after so many years. That they've decided to part company. Kind of interesting also that it's 4 years early. So clearly they've been lined up to go all the way through to 2023 Rugby World Cup. But they re-signed back in 2015. Different direction that Under Armour wants to go in. Which is why it's happening. It'll be interesting to see if who they go with next. As I say. You don't normally hear these deals closing early if everything's going well, generally. Hopefully this is, as I say, it's just a different direction that Under Armour wants to go in, and that 12 years together is a long time to be honest. So they've probably got most out of what they want out of this partnership. But even so, it's a bit of a surprise there that it wasn't that they haven't carried it all the way through to 2023 in France like they originally had signed up for. So we'll see who they go with next. Interesting, the names that have been thrown around haven't included sort of Canterbury, Adidas, or any of these sort of names. Looks like some of the other ones in there instead some of the smaller ones that I don't necessarily recognise. Christopher makes the point that no Welsh teams in the Pro 14 playoffs. That is very true. We just have Ospreys versus Scarlets, I believe, in the playoff for the final European Champions Cup place. I think is how it pans out.
What did I miss?
What did you miss? Me just blabbing basically. Filling time till he came back. So I don't think there's much more to say about Welsh jerseys, really.
Well, no, as I said, it was a bit of a surprise, I suppose, when we were, let's say, discussing it pre-show, and the fact is that we generally, a lot of these sponsorships with international teams are seen as being quite prestigious. And really, Wales has been doing. I mean, obviously with the Six Nations, with the Grand Slam,
Grand Slam,
with the Grand Slam as well, and so it's it's quite a surprise to see Under Armour, who effectively were the ones with the driver, and it was amicable in terms of a decision to terminate the contract, but Under Armour actually driving the having a change in corporate direction and making the change there. So it's quite surprising in that sense that we're just so used to sort of, Nikes and your Adidases and whoever else we can think of, Canterbury, who aren't a New Zealand company anymore, but still have Kiwis on their logo. Basically trying to have those relationships with teams, and particularly successful teams. So it's quite surprising that due to a change in direction from Under Armour, that they've decided to go their separate ways.
Yeah, it is. It is surprising that they have. You say that they've gone separate ways, but I imagine that the Welsh team shouldn't find it difficult to get another shirt provider.
No, you would not think so. In fact, I mean, like what? I didn't read whether it's effective immediately or not.
No, they're going through to the Japan World Cup.
Yep.
So that basically anyone who's bought jerseys so far, it's going to be valid for the World Cup. They want to make sure that suddenly there wasn't this
I'm going to the World Cup and I don't have a valid jersey.
And suddenly Canterbury have come in and Wales are playing in green. All our red jerseys don't work anymore. Yeah.
Absolutely. No, so I think it'll be quite interesting just to see how the Welsh Rugby Union handles that. I think it could be an opportunity to possibly get a few more dollars coming in for them too in terms of sponsorship. But again, their success would suggest that they've got an opportunity to go to market and be a bit more successful. As with what we discussed and what you educated me on, is the fact is that jersey sales might be a bit more fixed in terms of a Welsh jersey, but nevertheless, I mean, in terms of profile and association.
Yeah, and normally you say that sponsorship and TV rights and stuff goes up and up and up each time, but we've seen that sponsorship has plateaued or dropped a little bit in the UK.
Yeah,
hence the problems the RFU are having with funding, the Six Nations sponsorship going down in value rather than up in value. So hopefully they get more money, but maybe not.
Right.
But
we shall see. After
139 years of tradition has come to an end.
Yes, right.
So hat tip, congratulations, JP or Julie Patterson, as she's as her name. So she's known as JP to her friends. And as we're not her friends, we should really call her Julie, I guess. But there we go.
Well, you are linked on LinkedIn.
She has access to my connection on LinkedIn. So I am hoping that she'll accept to do an interview. In which case, that'll be available.
Well, I suppose before you go on too much, you better tell everybody who Julie Patterson is.
No, I was about to do a sales pitch for my Patreon and being.
Oh, right, sorry, my bad. I'll let you carry on then.
Thank you. There we go. So if you want to get access to that and other exclusive content that I provide, you can become a supporter of Driving Maul at www.patreon.com/DrivingMaul. Link down below in the notes. So who is Julie then?
I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't know.
Okay.
She's down from red and black country, mate. What are you asking me for?
That's all right. Well, you can at least tell them that she's now the new president of Canterbury.
Oh, okay. I thought it was CEO. Is she president, is she?
She's president.
Sorry, my bad. I actually going CEO. Right. She's the new president of the Canterbury Rugby Football Union.
She is. So it's been 139 years, and she's the first female president of the Canterbury Football Union. I don't know. They haven't said she's the first female president of any union, so I assume that there's been another one.
There has been. My mind's gone blank. I think it's the Buller or West Coast Rugby Union. So it'll be the West Coast, because West Coast, I think, has a female president.
Okay, well that would be Heartland Championship, so she might be the first minus 10 cup level president, I guess. She used to play women's rugby, funnily enough, for Canterbury. And has been actively involved in rugby for many years. And it's good to see, basically, that Canterbury are choosing the best person for the job, irrespective of anything, really. Which is really good. So congratulations, JP.
You've made an assumption there.
I have made an assumption there. That's very true.
As opposed to going for diversity. It's a saying.
No. She was the 2016 Volunteer of the Year. There you go. And she's played rugby at all sorts of levels for Canterbury as well. So over 100 games. That's more games than I ever made.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a fair few to rack up. Now the thing to consider there is it's 100. It's 100 games for Canterbury?
No, not for Canterbury. For Con.
Well, that's what I was going to say. That's a big number to rack up if you for women's rugby when they play. Obviously they've had the provincial competition for the last 4 or 5 years, which is gathering momentum, but before that,
but even so, they play less. They play less.
Yeah, even that they play less. Yeah, mind you, if they're getting close now to every Mitre 10 province.
So two provinces didn't last year, Northland and Southland.
Yep, and I believe Northland's going to have one this year.
I believe Northland are making. They were
trying.
Last we heard they were making moves and trying to get themselves organised for that. But I've not heard anything out of Southland towards putting together a women's side as yet.
Yep.
Sides like Taranaki, I think, were new last year, as you can see by their results. And good on those.
You're going to start somewhere.
Well, no. I mean, good on the players who turn up and turn out for every game like that, where you know you're going to lose every game. Congratulations, well done for turning up, because that's
totes.
Yeah, they're not getting paid. They're not professionals. It's not professional sport for them. They're
traveling. They get an appearance fee.
Okay, but it's not. Right, it's definitely not a full-time professional sport for them. Okay, it's not.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, but I don't think. The fact is that it's sort of very the early days, or not early days, it's sort of like the amateur era type thing where you got an appearance fee,
exactly. So
paid to turn up to training or whatever like that, but compensation for your time in lieu of being away from work.
But it's not.
But it's not professional.
It's definitely not full-time professional, and then they do have to fly all over the country to go to games.
Party!
So they are away from work quite a lot, is what I meant. Yeah. She 100 games for university, I think.
Oh, so club level, yep.
Yeah, club level. Yep. Even so.
That's still a lot too.
I was going to say.
That's not a small amount either, just for club level.
I never ranked up 100 games at club level. But I never played club level.
Yeah.
I didn't even rank up. Yes, I say really looking forward to hopefully having a chat. I've reached out to the union and see if they'll give me if they'll organise something.
There's me reaching out.
Very good. Oh, dearie me. Anything else on presidents in Canterbury or anything else?
No, not much more to say, really. I suppose. I mean, it'd be good looking forward to if you can get that interview with Julie. That'd be great. Or JP. You'll be able to call it JP once you've had the interview. But
I will.
No, it's I think one thing we talked about a while ago is just like, although there's a finite amount of things that you can actually talk about in our game that we love, because at the end of the day, it's quite cyclical what happens in sport. So to have something like this is something new and different to our sport. So to talk to someone like Julie and to get her perspective on things and that actually brings a different view on things within our sport. So it makes it a bit more interesting, I think.
Yep. The actually, what I was thought that I've been down to if you follow me on Twitter, you'll notice I've been down to Tairua for a couple of club games. I went down to Otahonga last weekend for a club game, and this Saturday, I'll be heading down to Marist. Marist. How do you say it? Anyway,
Marist.
So, Hamilton Marist.
Yeah.
Versus Otahonga.
That is an English word.
But is it English or is it Italian as it's all about?
I don't know. It's Catholic. Put it at the end of the day. It's
exactly. So Latin.
Catholics, yeah.
Anyway, so I'll be heading down there. So if you're in Hamilton on Saturday, come and watch some club rugby with me. I'll be the one in the silly hat, and this weekend. But it's been good to have a chat to some of the folks in the crowd about the club rugby, and it's been interesting to see how many players from overseas are playing club rugby here in New Zealand, because club rugby, they don't get paid much. It's again, it's amateur or semi-professional at best.
It's supposedly semi-professional.
Yes.
Club rugby. However, realistically, it's amateur, and like we just alluded to before, they will if they are getting anything, it's really just compensation for the fact that they might have to take an hour off work to go to time off work to go to training and that sort of thing.
I think there's so many different. So I mean, Tairua play in Thames Valley, which is a Heartland Championship one. So their level is a bit lower than Waikato.
Yeah.
So I think there were like four Waikato players in the Otahonga side. Plus they had Joe Thompson over from Wales, who played for Ospreys last year, but because of the fun and games that is Welsh rugby,
that's Nick Williams.
They kind of didn't have funding, and he ended up decided to come over here and try his luck out. Apparently, and they've got an English lock there and a couple of Scots guys also running around for them. So it's interesting that
makes it, yeah.
So Otahonga got four players from the UK running around for them. Tairua have got 12 from around the world, from USA, Argentina. They've got a Scottish fullback who's pretty useful, and a few others. So it's interesting how many foreigners get themselves work visas for a year, come over. I mean, the ones that I didn't get a chance to chat to the guys at Otahonga, but ones in Tairua, and one of them's working in the butcher, working in the butcher's shop. Another one's working. A couple of them are doing kiwi fruit picking. And basically, the clubs or the businesses that sponsor the clubs will kind of put up one job each for these guys, and they come basically they train Tuesdays and Thursday evenings.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, they're expected to put in their own gym sessions in around that and stuff. But so basically, they get gym membership. They'll get some sort of board. They'll get a job to do. And be expected to turn up for training.
Basically, it's an experience. It's a rugby experience. Is what they're coming for.
Yep.
And they get their costs covered rather than actually making anything out of it. But you can't put a value on the experience as a young person travelling around the other side of the world and to basically get put up and play a game that you like playing. Yeah, I mean, I know just with going on to another, involved with the local cricket club. I've had one of our players that plays for Auckland at an Auckland level, so first class cricket, and he was working with our juniors, and a couple of the junior teams wanted to do some coach training sessions with them over winter. So I was about to approach him for them, and I found out from one of our senior coaches, oh no, I've set him up with a contract in England. And look, it's great for him. I mean, in terms of it's funny because in terms of a cricket sense, England's a great place to go because you're basically playing cricket day in, day out because of the way the setup is over there. And conversely, for somebody coming over here playing rugby, although it's not day in, day out, you are, especially in those sort of smaller town areas, you're immersing into rugby culture.
Yep.
And it's a great experience for those guys. Yeah. You can't... it's not about money, I don't think. I think it's just about the times that they'll have, the stories that they'll have, that they'll be able to regale to their family when they end up with one.
And Joe Thompson may find himself a Mitre 10 Cup contract. The rest of them, I don't think so.
Yeah.
They're not. Yeah, but he's a bit different, having, as I said,
Ospreys.
already played Pro 14 rugby. So yeah, he's played at a decent level.
Just looking at Christopher's comment, it's a good thing he's not playing for Ospreys in the Pro 14 at the moment, because there's no Welsh teams that made it to the playoffs.
Well, there is that.
So it's a good thing he's come down here. Yeah.
Sorry, Liga Sul-Americana. Have you had a chance to read that in the 5 minutes we had before this show?
No. I'll let you go with that one.
Okay, so previously it had been reported that we were going to Liga Sudamericana. So this is we found out the name now of the professional league in South America. So this is basically the Major League Rugby for South America. Also, Major League Rugby is currently in the USA and Canada. There's been talk of a Mexican side at some point, so maybe it will reach down into there as well. But down in South America, they've been putting this together now for a couple of years. And previously, we had been told that it was going to be kicking off in 2021, and it's going to have club teams from these different countries. So Argentina, Brazil, Chile, Paraguay and Uruguay, which if you listen to those names, obviously Argentina, we all know they're a rugby side. Uruguay, they're in the Rugby World Cup, no big surprise there. Brazil, Chile, both in the America's Rugby Championship. The Maori All Blacks tour.
Well, I've got to say, Brazil with one of the best scrums in the world.
Perhaps
might need a bit more than that, but
very, very good scrummaging. Yes. And then there's also, and then then Paraguay, the other one that's in there at the moment. Different reports depending on where you read it from. The report I read earlier had said that there were going to be 6 teams in 2020. The one that I've got here says there's going to be 8 teams in 2020. I believe there are going to be 6 in 2020, and then in 2021 it was going to expand again. But currently they're looking at something like 2 in Argentina, 2 in Brazil, 2 in Uruguay, and then 1 in Chile and 1 in Paraguay, which kind of makes kind of sense. And yeah, it makes the point there that Mexico's non-involvement is because of the possibility of joining MLR. But we'll see how that all pans out. And then there's talk of, like in Europe, you have the European Rugby Champions Cup and European Rugby Challenge Cup. There's been talk of having a America's Club Cup games as well. So games between the LAR,
like a challenge knockout type thing, possibly.
Or, even if it just starts with just the winner of each side playing each other.
Oh, right at the end. At
the end of the season, or
so you
or the following season.
Yep.
Adding some games in.
America's Club Champion.
Yep. So that's the.
Well, it'll have to be like the British and Irish line, the Americas and Canada Club Champions.
And it's good to see World Rugby back in this. So 50% of the funding for all this is coming from World Rugby. It's all part of that expansion.
But that's the good thing that you hear, seeing is that, many years, like obviously with the Pacific Islands, we've talked about the lack of investment in there from World Rugby effectively.
Yep.
And so, although it's not in the Pacific Islands, it's good to see this investment happening from World Rugby to grow the game. It's logical type plans and structures that they're looking to implement instead of some weird half-assed type sort of solution.
Yeah, I mean, for years they've been providing funding just for the national team, effectively. So whereas now we start off with the Drua, because the Fiji Drua are funded by World Rugby, and take part in the National Rugby Championship in Australia. And did they win it last year?
Yes, they did.
Yeah, they won it last year. Or they made the final at least.
I think if they didn't, because I think this might have been the year before, the issue occurs when they end up losing a lot of their players because some international matches happen around the time of the finals, I think, or something like that. But I think this year they did actually end up winning it.
Yeah, the previous year, you're right. They suddenly, there was a distinct drop off in their performances. I think it was safe to say. Just bring up the Tribe Sports app, see if I can bring up the one. So it's going to be interesting. Of this, Argentina will have a team in the second division in the South Africa competition.
Yes.
As well this year. Oh, okay.
Yeah, because that's where I was getting that mixed up with. Remember the was that last week or the week before when Pumas?
You again, yes. Yeah. Now I know they have done in the past, and this year in the Super Sport Rugby Challenge, I think it's called, and the predictions are coming out on the DrivingMaul website, kindly written by Andre, a friend of mine. You've met Andre?
Totally.
So he's
the one that recognised my voice in the Matakana markets.
He is. That's right. You see, I have to wear a hat to be famous. You just have to talk. So in that context, I'd say he's writing the predictions up for those. And thank you also to Hugh, by the way, while we're talking about predictions and stuff. He's doing the Shoot Shield predictions on the DrivingMaul website this year. So we're spreading down and getting into some of the
You're utilising your resources.
My network.
Your network.
To reach out to lower... Yeah, go on.
So I was just going to say, Fiji Drua did win the NRC 2018.
Thank you. There we go. I thought they did. So this does a couple of things. So what we've seen with Major League Rugby in the USA so far is in their national performances last year in the June window, and also in the November window, was they could play much deeper into games. I mean, they beat Scotland with the last kick of the game from memory, and the fitness of the sides suddenly went up because the first time ever last year the USA were able to pick an entirely everyone in their squad were actual professional players rather than being semi-professionals they had been previously. Mm-hmm. So what this allows, what the LAR, I think it's called, is the there you go, LAR will allow the sides like Brazil, Chile, Paraguay, Uruguay. I mean, Argentina already, they're all there, but for those other four countries, it means that their players get to concentrate, get to train full time. One of the big things we've heard when talking about, we hear it mainly from the women because they're going through that transition at the moment from amateur to professional, is when you hear the ladies who just switched professional, it's not so much the training they can do, but it's the rest they can do. In fact, they can actually do the proper recuperation, which allows them to train better next time.
You're not back in the office, the warehouse, or back on the force on Monday morning and going, my shoulder hurts, and
you're getting massages and you're able to recuperate properly. But what this is going to allow those countries to do is to actually have fully professional or more of their players in a professional environment where the fitness and conditioning will be higher. The amount of training they do will possibly not be that much more. But it's a recuperation it allows them to do, which is the big thing. And obviously their skill set level will go up. That will take longer. The first thing that we'll get is the first punch we'll get at the international level impact will be around the fitness. Yep,
absolutely. That's definitely the very... And the thing is that the fitness thing is an instant thing almost. Once they get the training plans and everything and your fitness levels go up, it's the skill level will take time, but one thing we always know is that the fitter you are, the better you are able to execute the skill sets that you do have. So, now win-win. And I suppose it gives us a good segue into the strengthening of the MLR.
Oh wow, we are zooming through today then. Okay, cool.
Well, I'm just it's sort of like, well, the fact is that what we're starting to see is the development of the MLR now with players like Adam Thompson and Matthew Bistaru being announced going to the competition or the next iteration of MLR.
Well, no.
Which I think...
Adam Thompson is there now.
Oh, they're playing now? He's playing now?
He is.
Wow, okay.
The Fiji Sevens player who got banned for disciplinary action.
Revovo.
That one, yeah.
Yep. But not Joe Revovo, who plays for the All Black Sevens, the Revovo that plays for the Fijian Sevens.
Well, he used to play for the Fijian Sevens until, for disciplinary reasons, got thrown out of the squad. And I can remember that happening, but I can't remember what it was now.
Yep,
off the top of my head. Adam Thompson, 37 now.
Yep.
Hasn't played a
competitive game.
Well, let's be honest, he hasn't been playing top level for a couple of years now, has he? He's been.
Well, he did go to Japan to play. Well, let's Google and see what he's been doing then, shall we?
Whilst you do that,
while you're doing that, yeah, you carry on when I'll bring up the stats.
He's going to add depth to the Utah Warriors, which is where both him and Revovo, was it, are going to. But to me, I mean, that's Utah being heavily Mormon location, has got lots of Pacific Island ties. We've seen that in their style of play, particularly last year. And then between last year and this year, they lost their the fly half. I've gone blank as to who his name was now, the Fijian international. Anyway, and he was very much a father figure, very much one of the ones who was a big leader in that team. I think what Adam Thompson in particular is going to be able to bring is how to train, how to behave like a professional player, more so than necessarily what he provides off the pitch in mentoring and leadership. I think is going to be as important, if not more important,
coaching
than actually his than his ability on the
field. But so he appears to have last played prior to this for the Cannon Eagles. So that'd be in Japan that he's been playing
in 2017.
2017, yeah.
So it's
well, if it was the back end of 2017, and we're sort of looking at the front end of 29, it's only been a year and a half or so that he's been out.
Yeah,
as I said, I mean, when you look at the type of player he is and what the competition he's going into, I think the experience, even if he sort of spends like 20, 30 minutes on the field at the back end of the game, coming on the reserve, and I think he'll add his influence will be noticeable. Within that structure, and I think it also is the fact of seeing the likes of Revovo, Thompson, who have played top level rugby, and then the Bustero when he makes it over there too. Again, top level rugby. You're starting to see the evolution of top level players going into that competition. Now, in the likes of a Thompson, it might be not just at the back end of the career, but actually once the career's ended, sort of thing. But it's a start, and it's and obviously as that competition grows, more will start to end up following that path. Now you're looking at you've got Japan, you've got Europe, with the European countries, as you after your international career is sort of coming to an end or even earlier, and now you sort of think once the MLR starts to give it another 2-3 years, and you'd be looking at that as a option as well. I mean, if you look at it, let's say an All Black coming to the end and he's weighing up his options, he's looking at Japan as a soft option to look after his body, or he's looking at Europe to really cash up and go that. But the thing is that with Japanese rugby, you can see that in terms of maybe not at sort of Sunwolves level, but with their competition, things starting to sort of develop in that phase as well. So, the MLR could be the equivalent to going to Japan in terms of a softer option, shorter season.
Yeah.
So I think it'll grow.
Imagine if Brodie Retallick went to the MLR. There is no way the MLR can afford Brodie Retallick
at the moment.
And it's going to be it's more than that's a 5 to 10 year. That's at least 5, close to 10 year kind of thing.
Well, Brodie Retallick's got to go to the 2023 World Cup, yeah.
Well, no, I mean, even being, competitive salary wise.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, even though, Matt Bastero, he is, I think, 27 from memory. So, Bastero's still got a bunch of rugby left in his legs.
Yep.
And
as does Revovo.
Revovo doesn't have quite as many choices.
Yeah, he does.
Let's be honest, and that's one of the reasons that Revovo is going. unfortunately. Whereas Bastareaud has choices and is earning decent whack. He's probably one of the best one of the better paid players in France. You think that he was the French captain not that long ago. So he is.
And the loss to Fiji.
Now he's off to New York, Rooney, rather than Utah, and he is going to be going but he's going specifically as a sabbatical. So the idea is he's actually going to come back to Toulon afterwards. He's not going there. This isn't him signing off and heading off there forever. This is him going, you know what, I fancy, my body needs a bit of a break, so I'll and then also I actually I want to go get a life experience in New York. So he's not going to be going, so he'll be taking a pay cut, essentially, to do this. Very, very much so. But as you say, it's whilst you're that kind of age, you can get that life experience. Why not?
With regret, Nigel.
Yeah, exactly. And he's earned a French international, been at Toulon, as we all know, one of the best playing clubs in the world. He should have some nice money in the bank. Clearly not football level money, but still good money.
Wendy Ball.
And Wendy Ball money, yeah. So he is.
He's 30.
He's 30.
He's 30.
Okay, assume so. 30. He's got another 4.
Oh, absolutely,
years, 4 or 5
absolutely.
Years. Four,
I mean,
four
when
years.
you look at an Adam Thompson at 37, he's got another 7 years left in him.
It doesn't come across as having the same strength and conditioning and discipline, self-discipline as an Adam Thompson does.
Actually, I just realised something. Adam Thompson had a massive health scare while he was in Japan. So that could be why. I mean, like obviously 37, but you know, part of why he's
2018 gap.
Yeah, the gap. Yeah, exactly. Because he had that where basically they got some sort of I'm going to call it a disease, but something that went through his whole body, and he was in a Japanese hospital for quite a considerable amount of time.
Okay.
If I remember rightly.
So Bastareaud's on around €600,000 a year. Yep. Exactly.
Was that all?
Oh dear. So yes, it's the. So I say, he's in a bracket where he can afford to take a year out and take something for experience. Also, as you say, we're talking about the growth of the American game. If he goes over there, he creates a network over there. Post Korea, does he go do coaching over there, or some ambassador work? I mean, there's all sorts of potential options.
It helps with the validity of the competition as well when you're starting to get players of this caliber going to play in that competition.
True. I mean, we've had there've been a number of South Africans in particular who have been relatively decent. They've then gone and played there.
Yep.
We've had gone blank. Ex-England fullback used to play for Northampton Saints.
No, pass.
Had a girlfriend in the music industry. Oh. Anyway, so he was the biggest signing, playing again also for Rugby United New York. Interesting enough, playing in the 13 jersey, which is what Bastareaud plays in. So they're going to have their two biggest signings are both going to be both going to be 13s, which is going to be interesting. So we are slowly starting to see players do this. There you go. Top. Click on the top one.
That one.
Yep.
Okay.
Ben Foden. Thank you, Christian. Ben Foden. Exactly. That's what I was trying to think of. So Ben Foden has been the biggest name so far across any of the teams. I would suggest as foreign players that have gone, Bastareaud will take over that mat. But I say he's only there on a sabbatical. He's not there full time, as it were. Have we had any Mickey Mouse moments of the weekend yet?
No, I think I'm not sure whether Christopher's relating to the Mickey Mouse moment of the week as being no Welsh sides in the Pro 14 or not.
Ooh, harsh.
I know. I was just because I put a comment in there, but it's just like, so I'm not sure whether he was alluding to that being one of a Mickey Mouse moment or not. But yeah. So for me, I think one of the Mickey Mouse, well, the one that sort of stuck out to me, and while I'm watching the game, and it's just like, I don't think that the result would have changed, but it was the Hurricanes Chiefs game.
Yep.
And it's just like, obviously the Hurricanes got out to that early lead, and I see the Chiefs coming back into it, and the way that the Chiefs, I felt, started coming back in was actually holding on to the ball.
Yes.
Right? And then they went and, so Marty McKenzie went and kicked the ball away. And yeah, it's sort of like, and they were sort of like about, I think they were only about 2 tries behind, or less than 2 tries behind, I think it might even be. And they kicked the ball away, and the Hurricanes went and scored. And it's just like, oh my God, what have you just done? You've just been scoring all your points by holding on to the ball and not giving the open field space that a long kick in particular provides, and you've just done that. So yeah, that was the Mickey Mouse moment of the week for me, actually.
And yes, now this is something that, so last weekend, myself and Stephen, who unfortunately can't be here tonight.
Yeah, he's got to spend time with Australians.
Yep.
Sorry.
Yes. So he'll be back on tomorrow night on the All Blacks edition.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, Michael, I'll probably be, I think Arshan's going to be busy, so
I might be. We'll see what. Yeah.
Yeah. So I probably won't be on the couch. So in which case I will be Skyping. So yeah. So he what was I say? Him and I were at the Zone Sports Bar in Hamilton for this game, and we're doing our show on stage, and we're having a chat through microphones at the beginning. And pre-game, we said, look, the Hurricanes and the Crusaders have scored more tries on kick returns than any other team.
Right.
So if you're playing the Hurricanes or the Crusaders, don't kick to them. Pretty simple. What happens? The Crusaders, the Chiefs are going well, and they kick the ball to Geordie Barrett.
Yep.
They then decide to stand off him and let him run. And
well, that was the second try you're referring to there.
The second one, not the third one then. But anyway, but yeah, you've got to say, if you looked at the Hurricanes' tries, they were all from first, second, or third phase. They never had to go through more than 3 phases to score a try. That is pretty abysmal, to be honest. Whereas you saw the Chiefs go through 17 phases at one point, and didn't actually, and they ended up getting a penalty thing, but they didn't score. So very different types of styles of play. Against the Hurricanes, all you have to do is stop them scoring in that first 3 phases, and it won't happen.
Right. Yeah, because one of the things that Steve and I just offline, because we do that offline, we were just having a chat about that, and we've always talked about the fact that the Hurricanes really don't have a strong forward pack, but they've been getting the results. They're second on the ladder in terms of points, even though they're 4th in terms of the table. But yeah, when you analyse their forward pack, apart from Artie Severe, you have a bunch of no-names that are basically just pulling their sleeve up and trying to do the job. But there's no big,
Dane Coles?
Well, Dane Coles is out injured again, isn't he? So, but it's oh, geez, there's no. There should be that should be a forward pack you should be able to bully. Basically, there should be no reason why you couldn't bully that forward pack. But they're getting the job done, and nobody's been able to bully them apart from the Crusaders.
They've lost 2 games this season.
Yeah, Crusaders.
Both the Crusaders.
And that's it.
They've drawn 1 to the Chiefs up in Hamilton, and the Chiefs have got when their pack's going.
Yeah.
They have a pack that can bully.
Yeah.
They really. I mean, you're talking about players like Brody Retallick, Tyler Ardron, Michael Allardyce,
grizzly old men.
Yeah.
Even though they're not really old compared to us.
We got Nathan Harris, who's an All Black in the front row.
Yeah. Debatably.
You can debate how good a player he is. You can't debate the fact that he's an All Black. Okay. Kane Haynes is out injured, but he's a decent scrummager when another All Black prop.
Yeah.
They switched him over to the tight side.
Angus
So he was
Torval.
playing Angus Torval, who's a tight head prop. He's not a loose head prop.
Yep.
There's been an absolute penalty machine at loose head.
Yeah.
Had a really good game at tight head. So you got that's a pack that on its day can bully teams.
Yep.
And it did when they got the 23-all draw, but they didn't the other night.
No, you have to then. I mean, just actually, in the time that we've just been talking, you have to question the coaches, don't you? And the fact is that what's wrong if the Chiefs had sort of said our game plan is going to be roll our sleeves up and the forwards are going to take it to the Hurricanes forwards, and they didn't do it. I mean, Brody's missing from the pack, yes, but the reality is that why didn't they do that?
They did it for short periods.
Yeah.
To be fair.
Yeah.
But it was only for short periods. And you're right. Yeah. There are definitely going to be question marks around Colin Cooper's coaching this season. But to be fair to him, they had 13 players missing through injury and All Blacks resting. So Brody retired to anyone was being rested.
Well,
12
injured in the end. His hand.
Oh, his hand was it?
Yeah, he's out for about 3 or 4 weeks. Come on, keep up, Paul. Keep up.
So 13 players out injured.
Yeah.
Now, Super Rugby squads are not big enough to cope with that kind of injury list.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, but look, at the end of the day, you've lost D-back out the back, so it makes even more sense when you're less deficient in the forward packs that you use the forward packs to actually roll up the sleeves and go.
Oh yes, I'm not saying there weren't some problems with with his coaching. I think the playing style that the Chiefs chose to play that weekend was wrong. All right, they chose wrong tactics. But I am prepared to say that they are worth there are reasons why the Chiefs aren't performing very well at the moment, and that's beyond just coaching. That is missing those sort of players. Solomon Alomalo, last year, people were talking about him potentially being an All Black. The way he was playing at the weekend, he ain't getting anywhere near an All Blacks jersey. But again, he's coming back from injury, which there are some mitigation factors around them. But if someone like myself can come and tell you the game plan is don't kick the ball, then Colin Cooper should be pretty able to pick up that game plan as well.
Yeah.
Anyway, talking of game plans, this Saturday it is the Highlanders versus the Chiefs. So Stephen and myself will be back down the Zone Sports Bar giving you our pre-game show or pre-game analysis, and we'll tell you whether the Chiefs should kick or not to the Highlanders, amongst other things. We'll be back at half-time, we'll fill in the adverts, and then we'll be back at full-time with post-match reaction as well. Now, what's interesting about this Saturday is that before the Highlanders versus the Chiefs, we have a 5:15 kickoff.
Yes.
Which is the Hurricanes versus the Rebels. Which means that the gap between that game and the 7:35 game is pretty small. So
pretty small.
I think there's a good chance we'll be watching or at least one of us will be watching the Hurricanes Rebels game, and we'll probably give a bit of a post-match reaction to that as part of our pre-game show as well. So come down to the Zone Sports Bar if you're in Hamilton, and come and join us watching that. We're going to try and get Arshvin in a car down there, even if he's just going to watch. He might not say anything, but
yes.
We'll try and get him down there as well. So as I say, I'll be the guy in the silly hat. He'll be the guy with the glasses on, and hopefully and come and say hello to us if you're in the bar down in
the Tron.
Down in the Tron. City of the future.
Right. Anywho.
So that was that particular game, and we've managed to.
Well, I mean, that was my Mickey Mouse. You didn't actually say if you had one.
No, I didn't.
And we didn't really get one out of the chat room either, really.
No, actually, my Mickey Mouse moment was going to be Solomon Almalo not being able to catch the ball.
Oh, yeah.
To be fair,
Yeah. Don't know what was going on with him on Saturday night.
he
Couldn't catch a cold.
he had a real opportunity to, as I say, lay down a mark, to make a claim. Say, look, you guys, there's a space in that All Blacks World Cup squad that's up for grabs.
Yeah.
You've got a lot of people talking about Havili, a lot of people talking about Bridge,
Will Jordan.
People talking about potentially Will Jordan. So lots of people talking about
Basically any Crusader
player.
Severis now too.
Well, that's right. We'll talk about Severis in a second. And I say he was being talked about as a potential All Black last year, but on that performance last night, just coming back from injury. He had a real opportunity to say, "Hey, please, you should be considering me too." And yeah, he dropped the ball. Ben Lam is not going to be considered, by the way. So, Sevu Reece. Now, Sevu Reece had a really good game at the weekend, but he is a winger and only a winger. And let's be honest, if he gets into the squad in the same sort of role, same sort of position as Havili or as Bridge, he's not going to be there as a starter.
No.
So therefore, he doesn't. What Sevu Reece doesn't bring, he doesn't bring any versatility into that squad, because he can play wing, and that's it. There's no other position he can play. He's not a fullback. He's definitely not a centre.
No. And
he is fantastic with ball in hand. His attacking skills are brilliant. I mean, we saw him score 2 tries, the strength he showed.
Yeah, I was surprised. I'll be honest, I was surprised at the strength he showed. The way that he bumped off Quagga Smith. I just didn't see that coming. In my head, I pictured him as a short, slim winger that runs around all over the place, like a busy bee, but not not like somebody who's going to bump off.
Well, you've got his stats there. How tall is he?
179 centimetres, so he's a bit taller than what I thought. So he's about a centimetre taller than me.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
But in rugby terms, that's not. He's not a tall.
No.
So he's a short, powerful player.
You calling me short?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, stinker.
But yeah, he's a short, powerful player with good feet. The one thing he can't do is tackle. Okay. One thing he can do is shoulder barge a player who's got the ball. But unfortunately, his tackle technique does leave something to be desired. So,
never really got tested on Friday night. They did it.
He had a borderline one on Friday night.
Did he?
He's had a couple of other borderline ones as well this season. So
But he put a red and black jersey on and get away with anything, mate.
Exactly. But he sails very close to that wind, that's an area of his game he needs to improve. Is his tackle technique? I would suggest. But attacking wise, fantastic player, as we've seen over the last few games.
Look, I mean, at the end of the day, full credit and to the opposition and all that. But at the end of the day, he hasn't played for a New Zealand representative team yet. So if he do, surely Fiji would come knocking on his door for the World Cup even.
Would you say yes?
Well, but he can only say no. It's the worst thing that they could get.
Now, as you say, as far as we can tell, he hasn't done anything to tie himself to any country in particular.
No.
Okay. And people are talking about him being an All Black, so it sounds like he's not Fiji tied. However,
neither was Siva Nathiwa.
Okay.
But he played for 2 minutes for Fiji and ruined his All Black career.
Well, there you go. But so but I did hear that he's not that he was considered an overseas player as far as Super Rugby contracts were concerned.
Oh, okay.
So, which is why he isn't at the Chiefs this year because they'd already got the Japanese winger.
No, I heard a different version on that as opposed to the fact that he's an overseas player. It wasn't the fact that he's an overseas player. It was the fact that they'd signed Ata Moalaki. I've said his name wrong. Apologies to him. Out of Japan for that winger's position. So basically, the squad was full.
Right.
And then Connacht goes in with the old contract.
Yep.
And I was like, oh, sorry, mate, we haven't got any positions here. But it doesn't make sense why they wouldn't have chucked him in the wider training squad. Because that's what Crusaders have done.
Yep.
They chucked him in the wider training squad. He wasn't in the squad.
I mean, he was only there because because Israel Dag got himself was injured, so he was there on short-term injury cover.
Yep.
Then when Israel, another player got himself injured down at Canterbury, who's out for the season, and Israel Dag obviously had to retire, unfortunately, and at that point he got taken on for the season. So he's only there because of injury. And
it is initially in that even with injury within that wider training squad.
Yep.
So yeah.
And now he's nailed on a starter.
I'll be honest with you. From my mind, the reality is the Chiefs sort of said, "Oh, hey, sorry, our roster's full," because the history of the Chiefs meant that it's too fraught for danger with the priors that Severis had for them to quickly go and say, "Oh, we'll snap him up." That was my take on it at the time. Not now, in hindsight. At the time, it's just like they're going to have to say that, because if they go and sign up Severis with what he supposedly did, then it's not going to be a good look for the Chiefs with the whole stuff that's gone on prior.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, that's right. So the Chiefs have got the worst off-field record in New Zealand Super Rugby.
Yeah, and they're trying to look better,
and they need to rectify that. That behaviour was unacceptable, and they can't continue that, to be honest. Maybe that played into it. I don't know.
Oh, it's just logical to me. It is the fact is that, hang on, how's it going to look? Connacht's just ripped his contract up, but we'll pick you up.
True.
That's it. So yeah. Anywho,
real shame. He did fantastically well for Waikato during the Mitre 10 Cup. Now I'm just trying to think. He either, I'm not quite sure whether he broke the try scoring record for Waikato or not, but he got very, very close.
In a season, you mean?
In a season. And it was interesting that his the backs coach is the current holder of that record.
Roger
Randall, yes, who is now the backs coach for the Chiefs. A lot of people in the White I think it's I'm telling tales out of school here, but a lot of people in the Waikato Union were very disappointed that he didn't get picked up by the Chiefs. Put bluntly. New Zealand Warriors records. No, that's not good. But yes, I say he got very close. So looking forward to games this weekend. Now clearly, I'll be looking forward to the Highlanders versus the Chiefs, because we'll be playing. Because I say myself, Stephen, and hopefully we can get Arshman down. Maybe even hopefully get John O'Connor down as well, who's been on some of the shows, and Michael Pullman. You're in Hamilton in the Hood. So it'd be good to see you down there as well at the Zone Sports Bar for the Highlanders versus the Chiefs this weekend. Other games that stand out now. I'm not sure whether there are a couple of these ones that I found really difficult to call. Brumbies versus the Blues.
Yeah, well, I was just going to say, look, I think, this year, when we've been going through this segment, as the season's gone on, it's become more and more of, look, the weekend's just a great viewing of rugby because the table's so close.
Yep.
You can't call it, especially the South African conference. And it's really a case of, look, let's look through this. Look, apart from Reds Sunwolves, which is sort of, really only for the Reds, but Hurricanes Rebels. Look, the Rebels want to keep winning because they're only a couple of points ahead of everybody in their conference.
But the Hurricanes haven't lost anyone apart from the Crusaders.
Yeah.
But the Rebels haven't won outside of Australia yet.
Yeah.
So you've got to say that's.
But there's still got to be an edge on there because the Rebels really do have to think about, apart from the fact that you said they haven't won outside of Australia.
Yep.
They're still going to think we're at the top of the table. We need, so they're going to be putting that effort in there. So I still think that the game is going to be Highlanders Chiefs. I mean, geez, Highlanders on a roll. Chiefs, look, they're looking at last chance saloon sort of thing type scenarios here. So again, it's sort of like in that Rebels bracket where you'd be picking the Highlanders to win this, but the Chiefs have to bring it. They've got no option. They've got to deliver.
Well, but you say the Highlanders on a roll. They weren't on a roll until they suddenly racked up 52 points against Sunwolves. Before that, they were being up and down all over the place as well.
Well, no, I think they had a comfortable win over the Blues.
Okay.
Yeah, I think apart from the first 30 minutes, once the first 30 minutes were over in that game, that was basically the Highlanders' game. And then they followed that up with an absolute rout of the Sunwolves. So they're getting their players back. Aaron Smith's come back. Luke Whitelock, all their players, their internationals coming back. So they're timing their run right back just as they enter the straight. So and the Chiefs are going the other way.
So being harsh on the Highlanders.
And then you got the Blues Brumbies.
So some stats about those two. So the Blues have yet to win away from home.
Yep.
All 4 of their wins have been at home.
Yep.
The Brumbies have only lost once at home. So 3 wins, 1 loss at home. So the Brumbies, very difficult to beat at home. The Blues haven't won away from home.
Last time they played at Canberra, I think the Blues won. When they were more rubbish than this year.
So you look at this one and go, the Blues are the better side.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yep.
But I say the Blues haven't won outside of Eden. Actually, that's not true because their first win was actually at was at Albany Stadium. So sorry, they've not won outside of Auckland. And I say this
home games.
They've all been home games. This will be their first away win. So the Brumbies have been very good at home. Away from home, they've been awful, apart from in South Africa.
So if you look at that, the Brumbies, they need to stay in touch with the rest of the conference to be able to be in contention at the end of the season.
Yep.
The Blues, if they don't win this, they're basically probably gone for the season. Reality, because they've got to play the Hurricanes and the Crusaders away yet. Yes, the Crusaders away, and the Hurricanes haven't played it yet, so they've got a home and away against the Hurricanes to come. So
three games against the 2 best teams in the
competition. So they've got to pick this up.
Yep.
Otherwise they're gone. Right? And then you go to the Bulls and Waratahs. I mean,
now,
the Bulls you'd expect to win that.
Yeah, this is one that I looked at it initially. You go, yeah, easy call here. Bulls win, and then you go, oh my God, they got so done over last weekend. Well, actually, it was only 1 point loss, but they lost a game that I called for them and just thought, yeah, this was. Suddenly, they weren't. They've been performing, and suddenly they. So again, the Tars, to be honest, were woeful against the Sharks. Got absolutely taken to town. But yes, so Simon, how many foreign players are allowed in the New Zealand Super Rugby team? I believe it's 1 without dispensation from the NZRU.
Oh, I thought it was 2, but yeah, I'm not sure. That's why,
But you're allowed to get dispensation. So, for example, the Hurricanes signed a South African lock above their allocation because they were allowed to, and they had a South African lock issue.
Back to the Bulls and
So again, you normally call that Bulls, but because the Tars just don't travel well either, I don't think. And then you've got Jaguares versus Stormers. Now, Stormers have been going from being absolute rubbish to being absolute great. I mean, we had people 2 weekends ago going, the Stormers are the worst coached team in Super Rugby, and I replied, have you seen the Sharks? But people basically were talking about, the Stormers are one of the worst coached teams in the comp, and then they go and turn over the Bulls. But the Jaguares are going well at home. So again, it's another one of those where it should be a Jaguares win, but those Stormers are pulling out some performances sometimes, and other times they're just not bothering to turn up.
So that's why I was like, that was really good coverage of what game of the week.
Well, except Number one, top of the list, Crusaders versus Sharks. The Sharks, potentially...
Oh, sorry, I'm on to the second page, so I missed that.
The Sharks, potentially the most gifted side in Super Rugby, okay, from a player talent pool.
Yep.
But as we just said, the worst coach side in Super Rugby. They put performances in like they did against the Waratahs, where they actually thrashed them. Like they did against the Lions, they took them to pieces. And then other weekends, they'll put performances in, and they'll be as they'll hold water like a sieve. Their defence is just an absolute joke.
And maybe they've listened to our podcast, whether it's live or recorded, and taken on the tips. Don't kick the ball to the Crusaders.
Maybe, and yes, and that. So, if they turn up and put in the performance like they did against the Lions or against the Waratahs, they really could trouble this Crusaders side. But can we? Yeah. Can anyone think they're actually going to put it together twice? Also, the Crusaders won the last 4 games by over 20 points. So it is the one that you would normally say would be is basically the only pick that's been secure all season has been the Crusaders one each week. Actually, and the Hurricanes, to be fair.
Say that again, sorry?
The only pick you go into each weekend picking it is with any confidence is the Crusaders.
Hurricanes, yeah.
But I'm saying, the Hurricanes should be as well.
Yeah, should be fair. But we don't always, do we?
But we don't always pick them. Fool us. So yes, there we go. That's your Super Rugby weekend coming up.
Absolutely.
Should be a cracker, as I say.
So we'll find out whether they sell C Sharks or sell Triple A's Sharks.
Oh dear. I will be post-match reaction on Friday night to the Crusaders versus the Sharks. Obviously live in the Zone Sports Bar for the Highlanders Chiefs and probably also the Hurricanes Rebels, to be honest. I will try and do post-match reactions. I'll try and stream those as well. There depends on technical issues. And then Jaguares versus the Stormers on Sunday morning. Always good to get up for that and do a post-match reaction there as well. So, you're going to get coverage from me for about half the games this weekend. So don't forget to subscribe down below and hit the bell.
We'll see you next time. We might hear from me on Saturday in Waikato in the Tron.
Maybe.
We'll see what happens.
Who knows? Do you want to click send on that for you? Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everyone who's been in the live chat. Always great to see you all. Michael, Archwin. Oh, it's you there.
Simon.
That's me. We had Jack earlier, Christopher, and Christian, I think, normally pops in there as well. So great to see you all in the live chat. Thank you, folks. Don't forget, 8 p.m. every night here, pretty much.
And 8 p.m. tomorrow night too.
Every night.
Every Wednesday night.
Every Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday, and Wednesday. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday nights. 4 nights a week. Oh dear me! Time for me to go to bed.
Bye.
Isn't you already?